Okay. In case of no question, I will move forward. So today again we will just briefly describe that what has been covered. So up to the last class we have covered about IP subnetting. Okay. So subnetting part is known to us. Uh, Up to the time you may have learned about the purpose of subnetting. In case of a network, a big network, if we need to divide in a sub part, and then we can go for subnetting. Okay, and subnetting divides a network in smaller parts so that it is easy to manage the smaller part of the network. It also helps in troubleshooting. It also limits the packet broadcast. So we know that many a times we need to do the broadcast just like ARP broadcast, network broadcast, or DHCP broadcast. So these broadcast packets are only going to be flooded in limited domain. Otherwise, if a size of the network is very big, and if every node get involved in broadcasting, then most of the bandwidth of the network will only be consumed by administrative purpose, and actual data flow will not take place. So maybe you can say that jamming situation may take place. So to achieve those sort of things, we have done subnetting, and smaller parts of the network is easier for us to manage. So that is in a broader prospect. We have also discussed about concept of netting. Okay, so netting, this has helped us a lot. Okay, basically we have organization must be having private addresses. Okay, so computers within the network, they may communicate with those private networks, sorry, private addresses, private IP addresses. But when the packet goes out from the enterprise network, network address translation is hardware which translates the private address to public network. Okay, so when it goes on the public network, all packets that belonging to our organizations are going to be referred with the public IP address. Okay, now in case of NAT also we have two sort of configuration. One is static, other one is public. Okay, so it might be possible, I just wanted to show that NAT is something takes a table. This is a table, NAT table, that is known as NAT table. And what is the purpose of the NAT table is to convert from private to public. Okay, so maybe this is private and this is public. So this is the role of the NAT box to translate private address to public address. Similarly, if a packet is going from inside to outside. Similarly, if a packet is coming from outside to inside, the public address must be translated to private address, and the data must be given to a specific designated computer in the local network. Okay, so this is what the purpose of NAT, and NAT needs to disambiguate because data may be reaching to a public network or maybe on a single computer. Now it needs to be disambiguate to distribute as per the request. Okay, so maybe in the local network, computer A, computer B, or computer C have given the request. So the data will be given to requested computer. So that is done by also done by the NAT. Okay, so NAT need to disambiguate that whether the request has been made by computer A or computer B or computer C from the internal network, and accordingly the response will be given. Now, further, I wanted to tell, in case of big organization, what they do take multiple um, multiple take services from multiple ISPs. Okay, so just like if you take in example of SMIT, SMIT also takes help from two different ISPs. One is Zio, okay, another one is NKN. Okay, so two different ISPs are there, and these two ISPs also, Jio has given two IP addresses or two public IP addresses, and NKN has given one public IP address. Okay, so now in this case we have total three public addresses. Now these three public addresses, let's say public address A, public address B, public IP address C. Okay, so in this case you may be having different private addresses. Okay, so you can also make a static distribution, like people belonging from a staff quarter may make use of A, public address A, and people belonging to administrative building may talk with B, or people may be F block, or mechanical or civil engineering department may use public address C. So this way also we can do the fixing, that is known as a static. Statically we will fix that these people will use this address, these people will do this address, these people will do address. Okay, so this way also we can create an static sort of thing. However, we can also have another example where dynamic linking can be done. So NAT will dynamically allocate public IP address depending upon the availability. Okay, so NAT will see that let's say that we have three IP addresses and NKN network is down. Okay, so if the NKN network is down, only these two addresses A and B may be belonging to Jio will be distributed among all the requests. Similarly, if the Jio is down, then NKN IP addresses may be distributed among all the users. Okay, so from where the request is coming, based on the request, dynamically public address is assigned. Okay, so that is known as dynamic NAT binding. Okay, dynamic NAT binding. So dynamic NAT binding can also be performed. Okay, though in the practical we have only learned about the static, but yes, conceptually it is also possible that dynamic binding is possible. And sometimes the organization purchases multiple public IP addresses, and anyone can be selected by any computer in the enterprise network. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, so this is very essential, because you may be knowing that sometimes we are doing very critical services over the internet. Okay, so you may be knowing that the maybe the metro rail maybe in the Australia, but they have outsourced their activities to India. Now the metro rail may be running in the Australia, but the traffic control system is there in the India. So people sitting in India is controlling the traffic. So in that case, if some network goes down, then it would be difficult. So NAT boxes dynamically see that which service provider is having active link, and accordingly things are selected, and network traffic and sometimes it is also possible that initially you may have selected some different route, but later on you can change also. So that is quite possible in case of dynamic netting. Okay. So this is about the previous summary of the previous lecture. Okay. The objective of today's lecture is to introduce some concepts about the routing. Routing is a very important concept in the networking. Okay, so I will introduce the term routing. Though we have also done the static routing. Okay, so we'll discuss first the what is basically the routing. Okay, so you may be knowing that let us consider that these are different routers. Okay, so I am making different routers. So these may be considered as router 1, router 2, router 3, something like that. And let's say this is computer A, which is connected with this router, and let's say this is computer D, maybe the destination, and maybe the source is here. Now all routers are connected with each other. Okay, so let us consider that they are connected in this way. Okay, so these are the ways in which these routers are connected. Okay, now we have to forward let's say a packet, okay, from source to destination. Now you can see that there is multiple path that exist from the source to destination. Okay, so just for demonstration purpose, one path can be of this. Okay, the other path can be of sorry, other path can be this. Okay, sorry. Let us depict with another color, another path, maybe from another color. So let us see that it is following this path to reach the destination. Okay, so this is what may be the multiple possibility to reach to the destination. Okay, now in case of that, if a packet is received in the ingress port of every router, then the router need to decide from where to out that input things. Okay, so input packet may be in the ingress port, then which output port should be selected. Okay, so in this case this router first having two output port, possible output port, either this or this. Okay, so this decision is basically taken by the routing protocol. Routing protocol takes or selects the appropriate path to reach to the destination. Okay, now there are various schemes to select a path from source to destination. So first of all, I will depict that the different parts of the router. So if this is the router, okay, so this router also having an operating system. Okay, router also uses operating system, and that is known as network operating system. That is known as network operating system, like my machine. Okay, so my machine also having an operating system. Okay, so similarly every router also have an operating system, and that operating system is known as network operating system. Now this network operating system is designed in such a way so that it can implement different routing algorithms. Okay, So basically different routing algorithm can be executed here. The different programs can be executed on the operating system, network operating system, to select the best possible path. Okay, best possible path means it has to select the best possible output interface if there are multiple interface that exist with the router. Okay, so maybe like that. So out of these two, we have to select which one is best. So for that, I have to run the routing algorithm. Okay, now routing algorithm, okay, we are running the routing algorithm, but we must need some information. Okay, so if some information that I am having, based on that only we can decide that which one is best path. Okay, just for an example, I am taking a real life example. In this class there are 30 students. Okay, all 30 students are maybe residing at different locations. Okay, so all of you will share your reachability. Okay, just like some of you are maybe staying in Devrali. Okay, so you will tell that, sir, I am staying in Devrali and I can reach to Gangtok within 5 minutes. So if anything, if you have any work in the Gangtok, you give it to me. Got idea? Similarly, somebody is residing in, let's say, nearby Patna. Then he has given that, sir, I am living nearby Patna. Patna is just 15 kilometers away from me. So if you have any job to Patna, you tell it to me. Okay. Similarly, somebody is remaining living in Kolkata. Then he will also tell his status. Okay. Now, so this way we are forming a network. Okay, this way we are forming a network. So in my network, how many nodes are there? There are total 30 nodes, and all 30 nodes have themselves, they advertised their locations that I am residing in this place, and I can accordingly I can act. So if I am a part of your network, I will decide my reachability, that if I can reach, I have to reach there. So how we can reach it to you. Okay, now definitely if somebody is staying in Patna, so somebody is staying in let's say in Katihar. Okay, somebody is staying in there in Siliguri. Okay, and then somebody is staying in, let's say, Rangpo. Okay, and somebody is staying in Majhitar. Okay, and then I am staying in SMIT. Okay, so now if I need to go to Patna, what I'll do, I will give my packet who is residing in Majhitar. Then Majhitar will people will give it to the Rangpo, then Siliguri, and then Katihar, and then it will reach to the other places, and through where it will reach to Patna. So this is the route that I have selected based on the information provided by you. Okay, so it is not like that you are giving me information and then immediately I am receiving. It's not like that. Okay, so it is hop by hop. Okay, so hop by hop means, first of all you will give it to someone else, then someone else will give it to someone else, something like that, and this way it will reach to it will reach to every node on the network. So in the class there are 30 people are there. So all 30 people will become aware of each other at last. Maybe after 15 minutes, or maybe after 30 minutes, or maybe after 45 minutes. But yes, after some time, maybe it may take 30 minutes or it may take 1 hour. But yes, we are sure that finally we will converge a path. Okay, and establish a reachability to every location where you are residing. Similar thing happens in there in the routing. every router advertises their information with others. Okay, and finally the final routes are going to be converged. Okay, so if all have given the information to each other, and then as a router, if I am having collected the information of all of you, then I can say that I have converged my final routes. Though the convergence of final route may take some time. That is point number one. So in case of routing algorithm, there is a concept of converging a final route. The second is that if somebody will change the location, maybe currently you may be currently in Kolkata, and after some time due to some urgent work you have moved to some other location. So in that case there is a change in the network, and if there is a change in the network, again we have to change the entire infrastructure. Okay, now up to the time what we have learned is that a static routing. Okay, so far what we have learned is that static routing. Okay, so in case of a static routing is also a very good idea. In certain scenario, the static routing can be considered as very good. So because as a network administrator or as a network designer, I am having the information about the every network. Let's say I am considering this. So let's say this is network 7 or network 3. Let's say this is network 3. So network 3, this is network 5, sorry, network 2. So this network 2 is reached by this, and this. Okay. Similarly, here is network 1. Okay. Network 1 can be reached by this. Okay. And network 0 is supposed here, that is going to be reached by only router this. Okay, now I know that how many networks are there and how they are connected. Okay, so this particular routing table I will manually I can set a route. Manually I can set a route that if a packet is coming from network 0 and destination is network 3, where to forward. Okay, so in every router I can go and I can fix a route. So that is what is the static routing that we have learned so far. Now in case of a static routing, suppose this link goes down. Okay, so maybe this is down, this router is not working. Okay, then what we have to do? We have to change the configuration. So everywhere I need to visit router 1, router 2, router 3, everywhere I have to go and I have to change the path setting. Okay, so in that particular case it is difficult to manage to the administrator. If the network is very small in size, or very less chances of any sort of changes, there is no change in the network. Okay, just like in SMIT network. Okay, so in case of SMIT we know that there is no change is going to take place in next 10 years or 5 years or 2 years. Okay, so I can establish a static routing and I can configure the routers accordingly, and everything will work perfectly all right. But if we know that a network which may change, which change may take place dynamically, so in that case static routing will not work. Are you agree with me? Because you just see that even if one router is down, we have to change the configuration in the every router that exists. So this is the disadvantage of the static routing. So I may have to design it manually, and I have to manually configure the every router to forward the packet. Now, by understanding these limitations, we have moved to dynamic routing. In case of dynamic routing, what is happening that as I stated with an example, that every router will share some information with other routers in the neighbor. Other routers means it is not like that they will share with every router. Basically, they will share with their neighbor. Okay, so you will share your information to your neighbor. Your neighbor will share the information with his or her neighbor, and accordingly the information is going to be spread out in the entire network. Okay, and if as a router, if I have collected the information from all other all other associated nodes in the network, then I can converge a final path. Until and unless I have converged a final path, the path that exists with me may be the based on the partial information. It doesn't mean that if you consult me at every moment of time, I must be having some path, but that path may be partial. But once I collect the information from every other node in the network, how neighbor by neighbor sort of thing, then that make I make converge a final route. So this is the advantage of dynamic routing. However, the advantage of the static routing is still a very preferable option. So one may ask, sir, why static routing is still a very preferable option? Because here what is happening is that if suppose I am dependent upon you and whatever information shared through you, so in that particular case there is a chance that you may mislead me also. How to mislead? You may give a wrong information to me, and I may consider it as a right information, and I will update my routing table accordingly. But actually you have given me a false information. So in that case, the security of the network is going to be compromised, because dynamic routing is completely based on the distributed architecture. Distributed architecture means different routers are sharing the information, and based on the shared information, I am computing and forming the path. And if any malicious node or malicious router will propagate a false information in the network, then what will happen to the network, you may think. But in case of static routing, there is no question of any compromise, because as an administrator, I have designed everything. It is all the things is under my control. Okay, so there is no question of propagating a false information. Once the information has been feed in the router, एक बार हमने router को configure कर दिया, throughout the lifetime the router is supposed to use the same information for further packet forwarding. I think it is clear. Okay, so from security point of view, static routing is very preferable option. Number one. This is the number one advantage. Number two advantage is that in case of static routing, there is no propagation of messages, like routers are not propagating, sharing the information with each other. So in that case, this administrative information, like you are telling me I am Patna, you are in Delhi, this sort of information and periodic updation, this is not taking place. Once you have told that I am in Patna, I want collected, I have it is known to me, now I have fixed the routing. Router will not interchange any sort of routing information thereafter. So no routing information are exchanged between the different router. So in that case, the overhead overhead message to establish the path that is going to be completely eliminated. So in that case, this overhead may lead to broadcasting. Normally it happens in broadcasting. So this may also, again, as I stated, that jam in the network situation is going to be avoided. The entire bandwidth of the link is going to utilize for data transmission, not going to be wasted for exchange of control messages. By routine information is what? It is a control information that I am telling that you take this path. Okay, so this sort of information is not going to be exchanged. So that is why the control messages are not eating any bandwidth. So complete bandwidth is only going to be utilized for data forwarding in case of static routing. So these are the two very significant advantages. That is why static routing is still a preferable choice over the dynamic routing. Okay, so I have given the abstract idea of static dynamic routing. Now with the help of PPT, I will go and state what are the dynamic routing protocol, and definitely as I stated that there is some limitation of the static routing protocol, because static routing protocol can only be deployed in the autonomous system. Autonomous system means the system which is in your complete control. Like in SMIT, I'm establishing a routing sort of thing, so the entire thing is under my control. Then we can rely on a static routing. But over the internet, can we rely on the static routing protocol? No, because other routers are not under my control. When they are going to down, when ISP is going to change the IP address, how ISP will behave. Okay, so that is not under my control. Okay, so we cannot rely completely on the static routing. Okay, so we have to rely on the dynamic routing protocol. Okay, so now I am sharing my PPT, and with the help of the PPT, I will share some more information about the routing. The things may be visible to you. Please, anyone to confirm?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So my slide is visible to you. Now, just look into that. These are the examples of the dynamic routing protocols. Dynamic routing protocol. Okay. The first is the RIP. The second one is OSPF, and third one is the BGP. These are the three different examples of. However, it is not only three, but yes, these three are most important and most, you may say, prominent routing protocol, or you can also say widely used protocol. Okay, now what are these? First of all, we have to see the full form. Here is the RIP, means the routing internet protocol. RIP stands for routing internet protocol. OSP stands for open shortest path first protocol. BGP stands for border gateway protocol. So these are three protocols. Okay, important routing protocol. Going into first, I'll just make a distinction between RIP and OSPF first. So RIP is the simplest one. Basically, the RIP and OSPF is widely used protocol. BGP is only used in case of border gateway protocol. And it is clear from the name when we have to propagate between two autonomous system. I'll just show you. I'll just show you with the diagram, then it is more clear. You just see, this is the autonomous system. Okay, autonomous system means a group of network and routers under the authority of single administrator. Okay, so if it is in a single administrator, so within the autonomous system, which are the protocols applicable? RIP and OSPF. Within the autonomous system, RIP and OSPF. Now, if we have to talk in among different autonomous system, then we need to work for BGP protocol. Okay, so within the autonomous system, either RIP or either OSPF. Across the autonomous system, BGP protocol. I think it is clear. Okay. So as I stated that RIP is today I have focused on to discuss about the RIP protocol. So RIP is a simplest routing protocol. Okay, what it does basically, just you can see that packets may pass through several networks on their way to destination. Each network carries a price tag metric, and the metric of the network may be cost on hop, service type dependent, policy dependent, something like that. So don't go in that. What I mean to say is that it is like a cost of each path we have to fix. Just for an example, let's say I am reaching to another hop. Another hop is just one hop away from me. Like we can say that from here to Siliguri, there are two paths. Just assume that there are two paths from Majita to Siliguri. Now, one path is 10 kilometers away. The other path is also 10 kilometers away. Both the path having the same distance, but that cannot ensure the quality of the path. Maybe both the paths are of same distance, but we have to take care of other metric also. What are the other metrics? In case of network, what is the bandwidth of the network? In case of reality, what is the bandwidth? Sadak kitna wide hai? That is the bandwidth. Okay, if the road is more wide, we can reach it faster. You may be knowing that a single path, or you may say that 6-lane path, 4-lane path. Okay, you may have seen expressway, highway. So maybe 10 kilometer on expressway, 10 kilometer on highway, 10 kilometer on local service path. So only distance is not a final metric in case of network also. So we have to take care of the other things also, that how much is traffic on the road. So traffic here may be considered, in case of network, traffic is considered as a congestion in the network. Kitna route kitna congested hai. Okay, so these are the other constraint that you have to take care when you are selecting a path through the routing algorithm. Okay, but here I want to tell you that in case of RIP, we do not consider the other metric. That is why RIP is simplest algorithm. What it does is just only sees that a particular destination is how much away, means 1 hop away, 2 hop away, 3 hop away. So that is considered. So that is also known as distance vector. RIP is also known as distance vector routing protocol. Distance vector routing protocol. So RIP is only dependent upon distance, nothing else. 1 hop away, 2 hop away, 3 hop away. That is. On the other hand, OSPF takes care of other metrics also. As I stated that how much is congestion, path congestion, how much is cost, what is the bandwidth, how fast the link is. So those things are also considered, and that is why it is known as link state. So link state, please be very clear with the name. Name is link state, means what is the state of the link. Maybe as I stated that congestion. So maybe route may be currently congested, but in the night the route may be clear. So that is why the state, it is dependent upon the state. It doesn't mean that the route is currently congested. Maybe that route will also be congested after an hour. After an hour, maybe the same congested route will become very free route or a flawless route. So that is what OSPF considers the state of the link to compute the final path to take a route. कि किस आउटपुट पोर्ट से हमको बाहर निकालना है, कौन सा सेलेक्ट करना है. Okay, that is very subjective in case of OSPF. So OSPF is slightly complex. Example of OSPF algorithm, most of the students, it may be known to most of the students because you have done BCA, so you may have learned about the Dijkstra's algorithm. How many of you you know the Dijkstra's algorithm? Sisam?
No, sir, I think it was not there, sir.
Dijkstra's algorithm अभी तक नहीं पढ़े?
नहीं था, कैसे लग रहा है?
Okay, no problem. Even if it is not there, then I will cover the Dijkstra's algorithm. Okay, just we have a one map and we have to select the source and destination. I'll describe it, no problem. So this is syllabus of mathematics also. It is in mathematics also. It is in computer science also. Both the places it is there. Okay. So when we were studying MCA at that time, we have learned the same algorithm in network also. We have learned the same algorithm in the mathematics also. Okay, anyway, no problem. So I think basic difference you may have understood. RIP is very simple one. It just consider that how far it is, what is the distance. So that is why it is known as distance vector routing protocol. Okay, so we'll just describe the RIP protocol. You just see it has been, what I have told is clear also. Within the autonomous system, interior routing protocol, RIP or OSPF, we have both the options. For exterior, border gateway protocol. Okay, so this is popular routing protocol. How it has been classified, it's clear to you. So these three is only in our syllabus. Okay. Now, what is basically the routing information based on how the routes are going to be selected? So this is basically the routing table. Every host having this routing table. वो तो हम लोग बनाए भी हैं. So we have done a practical implementation. So it must be we are familiar with that. So what is the destination? This is the destination network. आपका destination, आप कहाँ जाना चाहते हैं? Suppose you want to go to this destination, then next hop will be this. We have already seen in the static routing. Similar thing, it has to prepare dynamically. Now, as I stated that RIP works on the distance. Distance means the hop count. Means a particular destination is how far away from you. So this is 7 hop away from you. So this destination is 7 hop away from me. Distance is 7 and next hop, that is this. कहाँ पे forward करना है? Output port has been selected by this. कितना दूर है? That is also given, and this is the destination network. Other information is also known as somehow. I just wanted to tell you. that if you are making any entry in the routing table, any entry in the routing table, it is having a life, and that also we have learned in the switch table. It is having a life. Life means how much it will remain active, and after that it needs to be flushed. And I have told you that default time is 300 seconds. So after 300 seconds, that is going to be flushed, and again if I need to reach to the same destination, I again have to converge, again I have to compute the route. That is the thing. Why it is? Because once we have formulated the route, we have to decide freshness of the route also. So it doesn't mean that once you have populated a route, that is full and final. You have to, routing algorithm is supposed to do two things. One is that the route which has been formed, that must be fresh, and second is that it must be optimum. Optimum may be in distance. So optimum may be based on your metric, what metric you have selected. So the metric may be bandwidth, metric may be the distance, or metric may be the congestion. But in case of routing information protocol, the metric is distance. Okay, and second important thing, as I stated, it must be fresh. So how to decide the freshness of the route? That is why we have to make a particular route absolute. Usko remove karna hoga, so that if you are removing the old one, the new one is coming automatically. Okay, so if some items get old, what we do? We eliminate it. Okay, and then we purchase a new one. So these are two objectives which has been achieved, and this is the how. And in case of distance vector, share the most you know about the entire autonomous system. Share with all your direct neighbors, and them only share periodically, e.g. every 30 seconds. Okay, so it doesn't mean that whatever information that I am having, I am sharing it always. So I am taking a pause of 30 seconds as a router, and after 30 seconds, whatever information that I am having, I am sharing with my neighbor. Okay, suppose this sort of information I am having, so I will share with my neighbor. So my neighbor will also capable to reach this destination, and this destination. With what hop count? Hop count he will increase by 1. Okay, so if I am reaching by 7 count, my neighbor will reach with 8 count, because I have to go to my neighbor, and then through neighbor I will reach it to other host. So this is what it is. This is the routing algorithm, and this is what is the example. So first of all, I will just describe the algorithm. Algorithm is very simple algorithm. What is that? Add 1 to hop count for each advertised destination. That means if my neighbor has advertised this routing protocol, what I'll do? I will add 1 in the hop count. One may ask, sir, why? Why? So suppose my neighbor is reaching, and my neighbor reachability is 5 kilometers, and I have to also go to my neighbor. So distance between me and my neighbor also need to be included. So that is why I am adding 1 hop count. So if my neighbor is reaching with 5 hop count, then I will reach by 6 hop count, because I have to go to my neighbor first, and then through my neighbor I will again travel 5 more hop counts. I think it is clear. Now this is what is the first thing. So जो भी हमको आया है, I will first add one hop count. After that, it doesn't mean that whatever it has been given by the neighbor, which is full and final. Now one may ask, sir, why it is not full and final? Because I am also having my routing table and my neighbor is advertising his own routing table. Now we have to see that which one is best, that which exists with me. If that route is always already best, then why should I take help from my neighbor? So suppose I am having 3 neighbors. All 3 have given their own paths, and I have selected best path from neighbor 2, and neighbor 3 is giving the worst path. So why should I select the worst path? I will always stick to the best path. So that is why what I am doing to selecting a best path. Just see, repeat for each advertised destination. Each advertised means each neighbor से हमको will get the advertised destination, and then we will look into that. If the destination is not in my routing table, suppose my neighbor has given such information, let's say to reach to Patna, and Patna is not in my routing table, definitely I will add that, okay, I can also reach to Patna, and this is the hop count and this is the information, and through this neighbor I'll update. There is no doubt about it. But if my neighbor has given some information and I also have I am also reaching to the the same thing, next hop field is same as given by my neighbor, then replace the existing entry with advertised one. So one may ask, sir, you have already a path with the same hop, and your neighbor is also giving a new information with the same hop. Same hop here means through router B, I am reaching to a particular destination. Now my neighbor is also giving that through B, he will reach it to there with this much of distance. Now since my neighbor is giving, that means this is the new one, and which already exists with me, maybe the old one. So that is why I have to replace the new one with old. So old path जो हमारे पास है उसको हम हटा देंगे, और नया path जो दिया है, that is only in case of the next hop count is same. So this can be seen with an example also. If you are not able to understand, I will show you with one example, then it will be very clear. Now else if advertised hop count after incrementing is smaller. अब क्या है कि my neighbor has given the information, but I am reaching with some other next hop, and my neighbor is telling that neighbor is giving that you can also reach to the same destination but with other next hop. Means he is giving different route. I am having one route, but my neighbor is giving alternative route. Now which one I should select? One route I am already having. If the next hop is same, means he is giving the same route. If next hop is different, that means my neighbor is giving different route. If my neighbor is giving different route, then what should I do? So in that case, I will see whether my neighbor is giving that is the shortest one, or which exists with me is the shortest one. So which one is the shortest will be selected. So that is why it is written replace existing entry with new advertised one only in case that advertised hop count is smaller. Okay, because after incrementing one, that is definitely sure, because if you never is advertising something, you always need to add one. So you add one and still it is smaller, then you have to select. So this is the example. This is the example. Now please see the example very carefully. Here what is there? This is my routing table. You just understand that this is my routing table, and this is the algorithm through which I am updating my routing algorithm, and this is the updated one. Okay, ये हमारे पास है, ये अपडेटिंग एल्गोरिदम है, और दिस इज द फ्रेश रूट which had been formed after getting a neighbor advertisement. And same thing we have to repeat. एक neighbor ने दिया तो I have to update the routing table with the help of updating algorithm. Okay, and updating algorithm I have already described. So this is how to update. Now just see, one of my neighbor, let's say the name of the neighbor is C. I'll finish up within 5 minutes, so need not to worry how the time is extending. Need not to worry. I'll just give me 5 minutes. So my neighbor C has given this table. Just look into that. So whatever is given by my neighbor, what I have done, I have just incremented one. My neighbor C says I can reach to network 2 by 4 hop, network 3 by 8 hop, network 6 by 4 hop, network 8 by 3 hop, network 9 by 5 hop. So if I am getting this in this is with C, if I am getting with my neighbor, that means I can reach to network 2 by 5 hop. एक hop add कर दिया, 8 में एक hop, 1 hop is added, because I have to, if I am selecting a route, then I definitely I have to go to C first, and then I go to the network 2, 3, 6 and 8 and 9. So 1 is added, RIP message from C after incrementing the hop count. Now updating an algorithm. Now just see, my old is this. Now यहाँ पे देखिए network 2 reaching by 5 hop count. यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहा है, network 2 reaching by 2 hop count. Got idea? But what is happening here? The next hop is C. और ये information कहाँ से आ रहा है? C से आ रहा है. That means this is the old one. The cost of the link has been updated. So now we have to write network 2 5 hop count via C, because next hop is same, so we have to update the route even if the cost of the link is increased. So that is what it has been written, that replace existing entry with new advertised one if the next hop field is same. Please try to understand, if the next hop field is same, see here it is giving a bigger path, but next hop is C, so I have to update from 2 to 5. Now next case, network 3. Network 3 does not exist in my routing table, so straight away we will add network 3. What is the cost? 9, hop count is 9, and next hop is C, because the message is coming from my neighbor C, from where I am updating. So the second case is also clear. If the destination is not in my routing table, simply add the destination to my table. So here destination 3 is not in my table, so I will add the destination. Coming to network 6. Network 6, what is the hop count? 5. Network 6, what is the hop count? 8. ये बोल रहा है कि हम F के थ्रू network 6 पहुंचेंगे. What is the hop? What is the cost of the link? 8. But what is my neighbor is giving? You can reach by 5 hop via C. That means the alternative route given by my neighbor is shortest one. So I will update this network 6 5 hop count via C. Earlier network 6 8 via F has been now updated. Network 6, 5 have gone via C. So this way we are updating. Now come to network 8. Network 8 already exists. The old one is 4 via E. So this is the old one is already already shortest. You are not giving any new information. Okay. So your alternative path is not shorter. So I will just skip your suggestion. You are giving a suggestion. You can reach networks 8 via C, but I am already having network 8 via E, and that is also 4, and you are also giving 4, so I will not accept your thing. So my thing will remain old one. Okay, now coming to next, net 9. Net 9 already exists. So in this case, you just see the old route is having cost 4 via F, and new route you are giving is via C, which is cost 6. So you are giving a higher cost. So I will not accept your thing. I will remain my old entry as it is. So this is all about the routing information protocol, RIP. This is the way how the routes are going to be converged, and final routing table is prepared based on the advertisement that is received from the neighbor. So with that, I am finishing my lecture. I will just take your attendance. Just wait for a few minutes.